In this week's portion, Noach, of course, the Torah tells us of this flood that destroyed all of mankind, all the animals, except for Noah and his family and the animals that were being protected in the ark. When the flood started, the Torah says, and the rain came. Later on, several verses later, the Torah says, the flood, the Torah refers to the rain as the flood. So the Medrash and the great commentary Rashi asked, why does the Torah start with the word rain and then several verses later change to the word flood, which indicates torrential and horrific? So the Medrash, quoted by Rashi, explains that God exercised compassion. First, he sent down rain, just rain, regular rain, and with the hope that the people would see the rain coming and they would repent and they would say, yes, Noah was right. Yes, there's going to be a punishment and we're going to change our ways. We're going to prove our ways. And so God was giving the people a chance to repent. Perhaps if they saw the rain and they repented, God would not bring the flood and God would change the rain. God would make that rain of bracha, gishmei bracha, rain of blessing. Chaim Shmulevitz points out the following. Our rabbis tell us that there were 10 generations from Adam to Noah. And as the generations went on, the generations became more and more immoral and more indecent and more deviating from the kind of the humanity that God wanted and intended for humans on the earth. But God waited. God did not punish. God did not destroy. God waited 10 generations out of compassion. Maybe the people will repent. And then, when God told Noah about the destruction of all of mankind because of the decrepit behavior, God instructed Noah to build an ark. And the ark took 120 years. And Rashi also asks, why did God instruct Noah to build an ark? God could have saved Noah in a different way. And God specifically wanted people to see the ark being built. And God specifically wanted people to come to Noah and say, hey, Noah, what are you doing? And Noah would say, I'm building an ark. Why are you building an ark? There's going to be a flood. Mankind, you need to repair your ways. You need to be loving. You need to be caring. You need to be giving. You need to be honest. Fix your ways. Because otherwise, there's going to be a flood that's going to destroy the world. And God gave time, 120 years, for people to repent. So Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz asks, it's 10 generations from Adam to Noah, 120 years during this time, during the time of the building of the ark, and giving people a chance to repent. And now it's time for the flood. But God says, well, let me first send some rain. Maybe people will repent. Maybe people repent. 10 generations, people didn't repent. 120 years, people didn't repent. So maybe during the next few minutes or the next few hours, people are going to repent. What a long shot. What a long shot. What a far, far out possibility. But what we see, what we learn is God's compassion, God's love, God's desire for people to return to him. God's desire for people to be the mensch that they were created to be, and to give people a chance Give people a chance. Give people another chance. What a message for us. Yes, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur have passed. The time of teshuvah, the time of return. But all year is a time of return, a time of coming close to God. And what we see from this magnificent medrash is God's desire, God's waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and hoping that a person is going to do tshuva, hoping that a person is going to improve his ways, hoping that a person is going to come back to him and God. Of course, God will welcome the tshuva, welcome the penitence, welcome the return. What a beautiful lesson, a beautiful message for us, and to realize and to recognize God's love for us and God's desire for us to do that which is right, and God's patience upon patience upon patience, and desire and help for us to return and to make ourselves better and to live the best life that we can possibly live. Have a beautiful, magnificent Shabbos.